The WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Kalshi. Making real money predicting sports. Kalshi is available in a ton of states, and you get $10 free with promo code SGPN. That is Kalshi, promo code SGPN. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. You know me, know the voice of the guys, me, really real, feeling real. Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service.
Pretty, isn't it? Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
As all things should be, the league is back. We are here. It is time. We are talking about the Eastern Conference win totals for the WNBA. Another season back with WNBA Gambling Podcast. Season starts on May 8th. It is currently Wednesday, April 29th, time of recording. Got my co-host with me, Scott Studio Reichel. Scott, we're back. What's going on?
Scotty, beat me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, it feels good to be back. Another season, looking forward to it. Of course, we have a couple of off-season episodes coming up. Saw people asking me today when we were going to be doing an episode, and my response was literally in a couple of hours. So I guess people didn't realize we were going to restart the WNBA show today. But once again, we have the win totals for the Eastern Conference today, Western Conference tomorrow. Then we have some award stuff, and of course, we get into the regular season. So should be fun. Looking forward to it. We do have some new faces and some new teams.
So. Yeah, we've got a bunch of new faces. Everybody's almost, a new face when you look at it. The league getting the new CBA. We've been talking about it all off season. More money in the pocket of the players, which has created more parity. We've seen players go from this team, that team, this team. The whole league is shaken up, as everybody did project, as everybody made it so their contract would be up at this time. Yeah. We've got a lot to get into. I can't sit here and dilly-dally no longer. We got to get into the win totals. But first, got to make sure that I remind everybody that it is Derby week. Kentucky Derby is happening this weekend. Make sure you go check out the preview on the Sports Gambling Podcast and bet the Kentucky Derby on NYRA Bets. You can get $20. You can get $25 free Derby bet from NYRA Bets. Plus, you get a $200 deposit match for new customers, new members over there at nyrabets.com/SGPN25. That's nyrabets.com/SGPN25. Oh, man. I mean, it's just so much to get through. And I mean, the league is just tossed, turned all upside down, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how some of these teams shake out. First up on the docket, we start from worst to first, the lowest win total all the way to the greatest, and we'll tell you what we like here. The first team on the docket is Connecticut Sun, currently with a win total of 11.5. Ooh.
A reminder, by the way, there are 44 games for each team. We'll start there. And a second reminder, we actually have more Western Conference teams than Eastern Conference teams because of the expansion. So we only have 7 Eastern Conference teams, and we have 8 Western Conference teams.
That doesn't even really – they don't even follow East-West.
No, but I'm saying for the sake of the show, we're going to have more teams in the next episode than this one.
Absolutely. All right. Candy Burke, Brittany Griner coming into town for Connecticut. Adding on to that roster, and we'll see what they are able to do here. Aaliyah Edwards is starting her first off season with the Connecticut Sun, so we'll see how that goes. Currently, could be up and around. Maybe Aaliyah Edwards, it comes off of the bench. Maybe Aaliyah Edwards is inserted in that starting lineup. That's going to be something to determine. You also still got Anissa Morrow there. You still got Sanaya Rivers there. Both of them you have to think are probably in the starting lineup, or at the very least 6-person off of the bench or something like that. And then Diamond Miller coming over from Dallas, them getting that trade, and it seems like they are going to insert Diamond Miller into that rotation. So we'll see some of that going on. So a lot of things going on here for the Connecticut Sun. Well, last year of the Connecticut Sun, let me say that, because next season they will be, it seems like they're trying to be the Houston Comets again, but it seems like they've had some type of trademark issue, something like that somewhere. I think they just hit a snag, but almost positive they're going to be the Houston Comets again next season. But 100% this team is no longer going to be in Connecticut, and they will be going to Houston, despite whatever their name may be.
So since we have a unique situation where this team's guaranteed to move, do we think they actually care in terms of ownership? Like, what exactly is in the mindset here for this team?
Did the A's care?
Did the A's? Well, they were just bad anyway, so probably no. So that's the question, because Connecticut on paper is going to stink. Like, there's really no way around it. Now, you could argue that, if Edwards works out and if Burke ends up playing well, maybe they can end up getting some type of production and surprise some people. Of course, you don't have Mabry or any of the other people you're used to seeing on this team. But either way, I mean, this team should not be very good. I mean, I don't mind Rivers. I think Rivers is fine as a player, but Brittany Griner, we know, is definitely, I'd say, past her prime. You could argue that she got in early before they moved to Houston because, of course, she did go to Baylor for college, so maybe she just wanted to go for a bit of a homecoming there for the farewell tour. I mean, this team's going to be bad. The question is, how bad are they actually going to be? Do you think they're going to be like 10-win bad, or do you think they're going to be like 13-win bad?
It could go either way. I mean, it's probably right around here, right around this number. I can't imagine them winning very many games, honestly. I just don't think, I don't know if the coaching is there, and if that was if Mezion was the right hire that they needed for this team and being able to bring this team up. I don't know if the motivation is there to even continue to hoop here in Connecticut. Now they do bring in Shea Petty as well, and so I just it just seems like this is just a ragtag group of a bunch of players plus Brittany Griner, and we're trying to figure out if he can make a diamond in the rough out of it, and I just don't think so. Like, I think this Connecticut Sun team is going to get run out of the gym more times than not, honestly.
Well, to touch on that, by the way, when you say Griner, how many games are we sure she's actually going to play? She's had injury issues. She's had mental health breaks. Are we sure she's actually reliable at this point in her career?
Yeah, I think she relatively. I think she went to Connecticut to have a role. Like, it wasn't I want to come off of the bench and have this minuscule kind of role on the team. No, she came to this team saying, hey, you're going to give me the ball. I'm going to go out there and score. And I think for the most part, she'll still do her part, give you 18, 20 points pretty regularly here. Like, I think she'll be fine, and I think she can be relied on in terms of play on the court. Now, maybe does she get hurt? Possibly, but that's Brittany Griner. Like, that, that comes with it. They won 11 games last year. You're telling me that the win total is higher? Is this team better than what they were last year?
I'd argue they're worse.
I think they're about the same. I mean, I like Kennedy Burke coming in town. I think Aaliyah Edwards playing in training camp and playing throughout the whole duration of the season is good. They have the size. Brittany Griner, Edwards, like,
they really need Rivers and people to step up, though, because their backcourt's the serious question mark on this team.
Well, Sanaya Rivers, I think, is really
we like
good.
Rivers.
Yeah, I think, and Layla Lacan is actually really solid. It's just not the sexy names. Like, these just aren't the sexy names that everybody want to hear. But you've got Layla Khan and Sanaya Rivers, who I think both were rookies last year and really good. Anissa Morrow is going to help them with the boards. Like, Brittany Griner, we know her size is going to help with scoring. Aaliyah Edwards is going to be able to score if they just give her the ball and let her get out the way. Kennedy Burke, I'm very interested to see what Kennedy Burke looks like in a more forward-facing role. I'm curious, but as of right now, I just think the rest of the league is better. It's not that this is like horrible, but I think a lot of the rest of the league is better. If you told me that Connecticut won 12 games, 13 games, I wouldn't be surprised. But 11.5, I think I have to go under. But this one, I will admit, I think is pretty close just because I think that they're right on the number of, they're definitely winning 10 games. It's just how much more than 10 are they going to get?
Yeah, the number feels right to me too. I guess one question, I know we're going to be doing one of the expansion teams later in this episode and then one in the next episode. Do you think this team is better or worse than the two expansion teams?
No, I'll tell you right now. I think, well, not both, but I'll tell you right now, I think Toronto is better than this team.
I agree with you on Toronto. For the record, we're going to get to them in a second. Their win total's higher than Connecticut. Portland, who knows? Because they've had a lot of issues.
No, I think Portland is going to be horrible. If there was a team that didn't get to 10 wins, I think it would be Portland.
That's kind of my point. So Connecticut, even if we think are not going to be great, we are not picking them automatically to be the worst team in the entire league, which I think we have to state officially.
No, they'll get their wins against Portland. They'll get, they'll probably sneak like Toronto or somebody. They'll definitely get like those weird upper class wins that everybody gets.
They'll get a random home game there, as they always do.
Consistency? I don't think so.
No, I think the number feels right. I don't see much value. I think I'll go slightly over. I think they get to 12, but I really don't feel great about it. This is probably a pure stay away from a betting perspective. This line feels accurate is the word I'll use.
All right, next team up. We've got, what we got here, Scott?
Expansion team.
Toronto Tempo. First year in the league. Over under set at 15.5 wins here for Toronto. Let's dive into this new team led by former Liberty head coach Sandy Brondello. She was the head coach and be taking this team out of obscurity and trying to make them relevant in their first season. They're trying to be like the Valkyries who made the playoffs in their first year. We'll talk about and see if that's something that we think that they'll be able to do. But inaugural season, Julie Alleman, Timmy Fakbile, Marina Mabry, Nara Basabali, Brittany Sykes. So we got a nice little mix there. They drafted Kiki Rice as well.
They have an actual roster. I'm not sure how good they're going to be, but they have actual players. They spent money in free agency. Like, they weren't willing to just sit around and do nothing. I respect it. Win or lose, at least they spend some money trying to get some actual players.
Yep. Yeah, I think the Tempo would be all right. I don't think that they're going to be like anything to the level of what my Valkyries were last year, but I think they will definitely be okay. They bring in Isabel Harrison as well, just some more size in the bench. Laska over there coming from, what was that? Was it Phoenix or was it? I think it was Phoenix.
I want to say it was Phoenix.
I think it was Phoenix too. And the only head scratcher and the people that they brought in for me was bringing in Kia Nurse. I thought that one was all right. She's clearly going to take away minutes from somebody, and I'm going to be begging for them to stop playing Kia Nurse. Aaliyah Nye coming over from the Aces. Like, I think that they've got their big in Sabali. And Time Fagbile, so they got some size on them that I think they're really going to enjoy. I think Sabali is going to actually have more of a forward-facing role in terms of the offense and just getting her on the block and allowing her to go out there and work. Lexi Held as well, coming over from the Mercury. Like, I think that this is a nice team that's combined with some outside shooting. They have the size. They have the veterans. Julie Allman, veteran point guard. I know Kia Nurse gets on my nerve, but veteran point guard. Like, they have these vets in the building, and they can actually hit the ground kind of running here. Now, do I think that when teams start to catch up later on in the season and they start, hey, we've got it figured out, the Aces may go through their spell where, we're kind of playing weird, then they figure it out. Like, as all these teams start trying to figure out, I think the better teams will begin to separate themselves from Toronto. But I think Toronto's going to catch a few people slipping. Are they going to be the best thing in the league? Maybe not. But I think Sandy Rondello is going to have this team playing defense. And if you play defense, you're going to be in those games. So I like Toronto to go over 15.5 wins. And I think that they'll be probably a little bit closer to that 20 win range, maybe even more.
Yeah, I think I agree. I'm not sure they're going to be like Valkyries playoff good like we saw last year, but they definitely have talent. I mean, Kian Nurse, I understand long term for this season. You might think she's getting too many minutes. It's also an expansion team. You want some veteran leadership to help the younger players along. So I understand the logic there. But I do think at the end of the day, this team's going to be fine, which is a compliment for a playing team, like or for an expansion team, I mean. So I do think that this team will be around, I think 17 wins sounds about right. Like not exactly 500, but probably a little bit below 500. So I have them at like 17, 18 wins. I'm assuming we're on the same page there.
Yep, I think they're about 17 to 20, somewhere around there, where it's like, yeah, you're not 500, but you're just below. They're probably going to be in the battle fighting for a playoff spot, and there'll be some other teams that they'll be right there hanging around with that probably edge them out. But I do think that this Toronto team can go out there and win some games and definitely catch some teams slipping and some team off guard, like the Sparks, who like to just go in and not show up for a game. They definitely can catch a game like the Sparks out of control. Then think they're also playing in Toronto. Little bit of distance there. Got to go through customs, all of that. Like I think they'll have a home environment, and I think that'll muscle them a few wins, and they'll get close to this win total. So I like the over.
Yeah, I think I'll go with the over with you. This team might not be amazing, but they'll be on the graphic, the in the hunt graphic, fighting for a playoff spot. I don't think they get in, but I think they're definitely good enough, and there are enough good players right now to get them over 15.5. Once again, you need to go 16 and 28 to go over this number. That's not asking a lot out of this team. And you mentioned Toronto. It's definitely going to be tough, especially for these players on other teams making that international trip to Canada. I'm sure a lot of them have not really done that before. So there might be a very unique home court advantage in year one with this team.
Possibly. All right. Anything else here, Scott?
Not really. I think we agree.
All right. Before we get to the next game on the slate, gotta talk to, well, not the next game, but the next team on the slate. Gotta talk to the people about Kalshi. Real money prediction market, legal in a ton of states. And they have a whole bunch of different trading options for you. Go over there, check them out over there on Kalshi. New Kalshi customers get $10 when they use that promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, KALSHI, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Underdog. They have increased their payouts. 2-pick entries now pay 3.5x, and 3-pick entries now pay 6.5x. So head over there to Underdog Fantasy, pick higher or lower your favorite players' fantasy stats, and you can win big. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5. Get $50 in bonus funds when you use that sign-up code NBA SGPN. All right. Let's see here. Who's next up on the docket?
We have the Mystics up next.
Washington Mystics. All right. Now, this is a team that on paper, it looks interesting, but we will see. We'll see how they shape out and how things turn out for them. The Washington Mystics have a win total currently of 17.5 here. Let's look at this team. So first, big news, Shakira Austin got a qualifying offer from the Tempo, but the Mystics matched it, so she is staying in DC. Kiki Irfin, Sonia Citron, both really good last year. Georgia Moore is going to be making, honestly, her debut coming back from a torn ACL in training camp last year. She says she's ready to go. Yeah, Cody McMahon from the draft. So we'll be able to see that. Lauren Betts as well. Rory Hardman coming onto this team. So they have youth. This is the youth movement here in DC here. And that's probably why they ended up firing the GM, as because she honestly couldn't get with the youth movement. She wanted to go try to win now. And it seems like Sydney Johnson ownership, the Mystics overall all agree that, hey, we want to stay young. We want to build this core nucleus of players so that in 3 years, in 4 years, they are a really, really good and they're coming together. Michaela Onyenwere joins this team in the offseason as well. They give her a little bag, so she'll have a role on this team. I think that Kiki Arifin is a great player. I think Shakira Austin is a great player. I'm very interested to see how this all meshes with Lauren Betts as well. Is Betts coming off of the bench? Are you pushing one of those two? Well, Shakira's not coming off of the bench. I don't think Kiki is either. So, like, Betts coming off of the bench, how she starts to work in with that rotation. It is a lot of size here, but I don't know if they have the shooting on the outside on this Mystics team that's going to be able to keep up with where the W is ultimately going, with more teams trying to run and gun and take threes and all of that. Like, your only really prolific scorer that you really, really feel confident in right now is Sonia Citron. And we'll see if Georgia Moore is going to be able to add to that. But it's a question mark. She's effectively a rookie this year. She didn't play last year, her first year, and so she didn't get that physicality of the league, and that physicality is still going to hit her. So, as much as I love the Mystics, and I really do, shout out to my somewhat hometown team, it doesn't feel like it's going to work now, and I don't think the Mystics want it to work now. If there was a team that said that, hey, we're trying to tank, we're trying to get a high draft pick, maybe a Juju, something like that, kind of feels like this Mystics team.
Yeah, I think that it's really tricky because I do think there's definitely a path for them to go over and under the win total here. But I think I actually will consider the over in this one.
Really?
They had some injuries last year. Things didn't really work right, and they still got to, once again, 16. I think that is definitely possible for them to go over. You're looking at, I think Kiki's a solid player. Citron's been really good. Like, I think that they have some young talent that can definitely perform well right out the gates this season. But I think you're looking at Shakira being the big story here. I mean, Shakira, we know, is a solid overall player. She averaged about 12 and 6 last year, and she played 38 games, so she was healthy, which I'm happy to see. Hopefully she keeps staying healthy. But I think we all know that that front court with Kiki and with Shakira can be dangerous for a lot of teams to deal with. So I don't mind actually the Mystics over here. I do understand your counterpoint of how they're going to maybe not be so focused on winning now as they're focused on letting the young players kind of blossom together. But I do think at the same time, this team is still full of young talent. I do think that Kiki's solid. I think Citron, once again, is a very solid player as well. She could be an all-star. I think Citron's just a solid overall player. But they won 16 games last year, and I thought this team wasn't very good. So I do understand why you want the under, but you don't think it's a little bit interesting they got the 16 last year despite really being a dysfunctional team?
Yeah, but what's gotten better? That's my question to you. What's gotten better about them from last year? We talked about how when Brittany Sykes got left last year, they were struggling to score the ball. They were 50-50 if they were going to be good defensively or not. Like, as much as I like the players on this team, and I am a fan of Aaliyah Edwards. I was getting press passes to miss this game. I've been to so many different Mystics press conferences, and I've talked with Aaliyah Edwards and Shakira Austin, all these players. Like, I really, really do like these players, but this team just doesn't seem like it's trying to win. It doesn't have anything in it. Went on, what was it, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 losing streak to end the year last year. You're talking about wins. They lost 12 in a row. I'm sorry, 10 in a row.
But that's kind of the point, though. That's kind of the point I'm trying to make, though, is that they were flying over and then they fell apart late. But, like, you're also looking at Lauren Betts. They really do have one of the better front courts in the entire league. If you want to talk about just for a young overall team and you're picking Kiki to kind of do the same thing, bringing back Shakira, I think, is fascinating because with Betts being drafted, they didn't need to do that. So I do kind of like the idea of creating just a bunch of size, just throwing size at you, trying to just overwhelm you on the glass. I can see them dominating second chance points a lot. The question is the young guards, which of course is going to be the main problem here, but they won 16 despite losing 12 in a row to end the season. I do think
10
the 17 and a half number.
Season.
10 in a row. Either way, I think they'll find a way over, but they could easily pull the plug mid-season, which can definitely be annoying. But what are your thoughts on Betts? Do you think Betts is going to be really good out the jump? Do you think that she's going to struggle early on? What are your thoughts on Betts?
No.
Because based on the upside of this team, they need her to be Rookie of the Year caliber. Do you think she's Rookie of the Year caliber?
Rookie of the Year caliber. No, she's not Rookie of the Year caliber. Bigs need more time to develop in the W and to really hit their ceiling. I think that however good she can be, it's only just, a start. And she's going to have to work, develop, get stronger, understand what it's like to be as physical as they have been playing in the W, because she has not had that physicality. She didn't have that physicality in school. And that's typically what it's like for bigs. So like, I don't think that is any impact that I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this team who is basically the same exact team as last year, except, the rookies, and add in Georgia Moore. And what Michaela Onyenwere is going to, like, as much as I love Michaela Onyenwere, she's going to go out there. She's going to chuck up a few bad threes and set the team back some. Like, I am not a believer in the Mystics this year. I think that when they traded away Brittany Sykes, and when they ended up moving on from the GM, and they clearly set a precedence of, hey, we are trying to go younger. We want to go younger. We want to get better for the years to come. That was kind of indicative of how their season's going to go of, oh, this team could be a little fun, or they're just going to show their youth and they're not going to be able to score like they couldn't score till the end of the season. Like, I don't have good vibes from this Mystics team. I think that 16 wins is probably the ceiling of what they had last year.
So you feel good about the under on this team?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're an under team. Like, my gut can be wrong, but I'm almost positive this Mystics team is an under team in the fact of, who are they beating? Like, who do you consistently think that they are going to go out there and be able to get these wins against when they don't have any other outside scoring besides just scoring inside of the paint? And I think that's one thing when you watch them a little bit and you see they're not shooting a bunch of outside shots. And as soon as teams start clogging up that painted area, it's going to get really scary for them. So I'm on the under 17.5 for the Mystics.
So I'm going to ask, though, I'm assuming based on how you describe both teams, you prefer the tempo over the Mystics, correct?
I wouldn't be surprised if the tempo are better, because I think they could be better defensively. We'll see what Sydney Johnson is going to be able to do and craft it and making sure this whole group is really solid defensively. But Brittany Sykes, and we're not talking about it enough, but what's old girl's name? Oh my gosh, her name is escaping me. Like,
how about Brittany Sykes? Are you talking about?
No. It's the number 0. Oh my God, it's escaping me. What's her name? No. Oh my gosh, this is gonna make me mad. Okay, hold on. Sug Sutton. There we go. Sug Sutton. I couldn't remember. Brittany Sykes and Sug Sutton both no longer being on this team, people aren't going to think about, but they are a voice defensively for them. And I think that they're going to struggle. So, and plus Shakira Austin isn't going out there and, slowing down the big defenders. She may be able to handle business against some shot blocking, but once you start putting those bigs up against her, it's not going to be as good. So I just don't think that they're going to be really solid defensively. I don't think that they're going to have the scoring to be able to keep up as much as they need to. So, yeah, I'm on under 17.5 Mystics.
Yeah, you might be swaying. You might be swaying me a little bit to the under, just based on the lack of backcourt experience and the fact that, as you said, the shooting could be a problem for this team from the outside. Definitely true. So, yeah, I might be reconsidering my stance a little bit, but I think it'll be close.
Yep. All right.
But I do think Toronto, for example, is better than this team on paper. So I guess that would drag me to a Mystics under.
I very much do think that they are better than them on paper.
Okay, fair enough.
And I think that they're going to try to stick it to Shakira Austin for the Mystics first, re-signing Shakira Austin. So
yeah,
very interested to see how that plays out. All right, next up, who's this? We've got Chicago.
Yep.
Chicago Sky.
There was a massive jump after this team, like an insane win total jump after this guy.
Over under 18.5 for the Chicago Sky, coming off of the trade of Angel Reese to the Atlanta Dream. That will definitely make things interesting. The Sky, people have talked about, is a poverty organization in WNBA, if people want to know.
Yeah, for the record, by the way, the trade, as you were going to say, you're going to get into it, but it's mostly, would we agree, future considerations?
Yes. Nothing as of right now, but more future picks. The trade that you need to know of right now is the trade with the Los Angeles Sparks that sent Ariel Atkins to the Sparks and in return received Rakia Jackson. They also went and signed Skylar Diggins, Azare Stevens in the offseason and brought them in to work with this team. So we'll see how a Skylar Diggins-led Chicago team survives. Oh man, I am so interested to see Rakia and Skylar in practice every single day, just going at each other.
Do we like those acquisitions? Like, I know Skylar Diggins can be tough, but do you trust her to lead a team in 2026?
Yeah, Skylar was great last year.
No, she was solid, but I'm saying, like, do you think she's going to be able to just carry the entire team on her back? Because it's kind of what she might need.
Well, I don't think she has to.
Rakia in there. But
this is, I would say that it's Skylar's team, but Rakia is the engine that's going to make the things go. Make everything go. So as long as Rakia is going out there and she's being uber efficient, and she's being the two-way player that people don't want to give her enough credit for, then I think that they're going to be perfectly fine. But they also bring in Dejanay Carrington as well. I know she's handling a little bit of an injury right now. They also bring in JC Sheldon. That's going to help them with some defense. The fact that JC Sheldon has, the price tag that she's been able to command recently is very interesting. Courtney Vandersloot's back. Yes. Still got E. Will, and then they draft Gabriela Jaquez in the first round from UCLA. And so that's another guard adding to this. I will admit, I don't know. Jury's still out on Tyler Marsh and if he's a great coach here. But what I will say is that I think that they've assembled a very interesting group of players that I know can go out there and they can play cohesively and hoop. You talk about you bring in Rakia, you bring in Dejanay Carrington. Dejanay Carrington knows how to win games. She knows how to go out there and do what she needs to do to win games. So that's the number one thing right there. But then you talk about now you have Skylar, who can is that point guard that can get the offense, get everybody to their spots and keep the offense flowing and also add her own scoring to it as well. She can play the two-man with Camila Cardoso. The real question mark here is, do they just force feed us Courtney Vandersloot here? Because we really don't need that. But E. Will still adds a defensive punch. Azare Stevens is going to stretch the floor. And so I'm like, yo, there's enough pieces here that I'm like, okay, the Sky can go out there and they may not lose to the worst teams in the league anymore. They may be able to get some of those wins. They may be able to step up and punch up in weight class every now and then. Even though they lost Angel Reese, and I think a lot of people are writing them off, I don't think that they actually look that bad on paper. I think they're actually interesting and they're built like they can hit some threes and hit some outside shots. And so I like the Chicago Sky here. I will take them on the over 18.5 win total and say that they are probably one of those teams that are hunting for a playoff spot and probably fall just short. Well, that would be so Chicago for them to hunt for a playoff spot and fall just short to a new team in the Toronto Tempo or somebody like that. But if I think Washington's going down, somebody's got to come up, and Chicago is probably that team that's got to come up.
Yeah, as we're talking about more teams, I think I'm a lot lower on the Mystics as we go through them because I think the Sky are the best team we've talked about so far in the episode. I think they're better than Toronto on paper. I think there is a lot of talent here. The question is, you have a couple of veterans leading the entire core. If you get an injury or two, are you screwed? That's a serious question this team's going to have to deal with. We'll see what happens. But I do think this team has a decent makeup. They have a decent amount of players who know their roles. We know, of course, Diggin Smith could be a solid leader. Carrington knows she could be a solid pest on defense. You got Cardoso as the main option on the interior. I do like the overall options. Rakia knows that she gets buckets. So I do like the overall options there. Azare, we know, also a solid player. Hoping we don't see too much Vandersloot, but as a backup bench point guard, that could be interesting.
Bro, they're about to force feed her in the starting lineup.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Oh
But the point is, you have
God.
Diggins and you have Azare, and both of them are 30-plus years old. So we'll see how they hold up physically. But do I think this team could win, like, 22 games? Can they get to 500? Yes. Like, we're not asking for a lot out of this team. They just have to not be totally terrible. And with the veteran core they have, and they're good enough to actually get to 19-plus wins. I like the over. I feel pretty good about it, actually. We think that this organization is kind of a joke, but I think they did a pretty good job during the offseason of finding pieces to kind of mesh together at the last minute, which can make it competitive. If they snuck into the final playoff spot, I would not be surprised. They have talent on this team. Like, I think that this team getting to 19, that's once again 19 and 25. You're not asking for a lot out of this team. I'll go with the over.
All right. Let's see here. Yep, I'm glad we're both in agreement on the over.
Yeah.
Chicago
Once
Sky.
again, it's a low number for a team that has a lot of veterans who should be in win now mode.
Like, at this point, you gotta go win because you don't have your picks.
Correct. Yeah.
You don't have your picks. You gotta win. You have to. Yes, I feel even better about that. Chicago Sky might end up making the lock category, man. They gotta win. They gotta win at this point.
They, on paper, look like, to me, I think they're a 500 team minimum. You could argue maybe a little bit below that, but I think they get to 20. 20 is nothing. I think they can easily get to 20 on this team.
Camilla's going to be good this year because now she has point guards that can get her the ball.
And they have actual shooters to space the floor, which helps.
Yep.
So I'm with you.
This might be everything he wanted to do last year.
Yeah.
Rhythm, official data tool for dominating NBA, WNBA, MLB, and golf. Make sure you go out there and check out Rhythm's models. They help you cash in, or you can go build your own models and dominate the books. Use that promo code SGPN25 when you download Rhythm for 25% off your first month. That is SGPN25 for 25% off your first month with Rhythm. We're also brought to you by Novig, America's #1 sports prediction market. And you know you're getting the best prices on the market when you go to Novig because they give you reduced juice and a bunch of bets. A lot of those bets that might be minus 110 over at a traditional sportsbook might be like minus 101, even money over there at Novig. Go check them out. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5 when you use our promo code SGPN. That is Novig promo code SGPN. All right. Who's next, Scott?
Indiana Fever.
The Indiana Fever. X-win total on the docket here. Over under of 29.5 for the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark looks to be healthy this season, returning to the lineup. They also signed Monique Billings in the offseason. Kelsey Mitchell is back. Aaliyah Boston is back. Lexi Hall is back. Sophie Cunningham is back. Sydney Colson. And they bring in Raven Johnson from South Carolina in the first round.
Also Hines Allen.
Yeah, they did. They did bring in Hines Allen, and that replaces Natasha Howard, who left in free agency as well. So some new faces, but ultimately the same core nucleus of the Indiana Fever. They were 24-20 last season, 29.5 now. They're saying Caitlin Clark's healthy. She's going to add to the win total. They're trying to win a title. I think they're one of the best teams in the East. I just want you to know, Scott, last year, the Aces in that run that they went on in the second half of the season, they got to 30.
Yeah.
This is 30. I mean, yeah, Indiana is like smooth and Caitlin Clark is good, but like, I mean, do they feel like they're 30-14 good? Like they're going to just absolutely be beating up on teams throughout the entire course of the season? I don't know. It just feels like it's a little too rich for my blood, Scott.
Yeah, well, we have two more teams to talk about because we also have the Dream and the Liberties. You could argue that the Fever are potentially the third best team in the conference. And if they're the third best team in the conference, they're probably not going over 29.5. So it might come down to power rankings and how you view the Dream and the Liberty by comparison. But I think it's definitely doable. They got to 24. Clark missed a bunch of games last year. And a reminder, she cannot hit a shot on the road. She was an abysmal three-point shooter on the road last season. So we know every game's going to be
overall.
Yeah, we know that she really can't play worse than that in terms of shooting. Cunningham had a serious knee injury. She's back. She's been in preseason, which helps. I do like what they did to actually fix the hole that Natasha Howard might have left on this team. I actually don't mind the over. I thought about the under because I understand the angle that you're talking about, but this team still got to 24 despite missing Caitlin Clark for basically half the season. Like, I do think Clark, who is having a bad season all around, they still found a way to once again be competitive. They were even a decent playoff team last year, but Clark, for reference, played 13 out of the 44 games. She missed 31 games, and they still got to 20-plus wins. I think I got to go with the over.
But I want you to understand.
I'll go with it.
I want you to understand what 30 wins means. You're only getting X amount of 30-win teams in the league.
We're gonna mention a team in a little bit that I'm.
We got a couple. So. We got a couple more teams, and but like, dog, like, I don't know.
As a spoiler, I am
the number one team was the Lynx last year at 34, and then Aces and Dream had 30. And here's where I call it into question. And it's okay, yes. You have your Kelsey Mitchell, you have your Caitlin Clark. Sophie Cunningham, all right, a little bit of an outside shot. I'll give you there. Lexi Hall is up and down. When Raven comes in the game, yes, she can help create on offense and she can keep that tempo going when Caitlin Clark comes off the bench. But like, if you're starting to play around with Raven in lineups, it's not like she's a prolific 3-point shooters and she's going to knock down. Like when you're out there and you're giving the ball to her, I just don't think that they are as deep as they want to let on. And if you start adding injuries into this, then it already starts to look even scarier than that. I think this is the absolute ceiling. Like the best case scenario for them is they win 30 games. But like everything else, they're going to be under 30. And that's just too many different variables that can go into play for me. Like I don't think that they are that dominant where I'm picking them over what the Aces could do or what the Liberty could do or what I think the Dream could do this season. Like, and then we still don't know about Minnesota. And is Minnesota going to end up being good? What is Phoenix going to have to say? Like, I think all those teams are going to compete. And I just think that this isn't enough. I don't know if this is enough for this win total. If you told me it was like 25.5, all right, fine. Okay, cool. I can buy in. But 30.5 is like the absolute ceiling of what this team is going to do. And you have to just bet for them to hit their ceiling. And that doesn't feel like a smart bet to me.
Yeah, I think I'm just higher on Clark having a bounce back season, assuming she stays healthy. We're going to mention an Eastern Conference team in a second that I'm a bit lower on, I think, than other people. But that might be why I'm going to go over on Indiana and lower or under on another team we're going to talk about. But I think with them winning 24 games, despite Clark missing basically 2/3 of the season or 3/4 of the season, basically, they kind of won me over last year, showing that their depth is actually better than people realize. And I think getting Hines Allen.
Yeah, but that's not this team.
No, I think that they do have some depth, though. I do like the acquisition of Harris to give them some three-point shooting off the bench. I do think Hines Allen can be a solid, once again, bench potential starter in the starting lineup for defensive purposes. The question's defense, because they're going to score. But can they actually put together a decent enough defense to limit the other team?
you trust a Stephanie White coached offense like other like
I thought
yes,
the offense
Caitlin
was
Clark
okay
is
last
great.
year.
Caitlin Clark is great, but we how many times do we sit here and and when the season goes on and we start watching Stephanie White and this team, we're like, wow, she just really does rely on her stars a lot. And there's not a lot of offensive mentality, bravado, whatever you want to call it, going into the play calling of what she's doing. And it's just more of, all right, Caitlin, save us. All right, Aaliyah, save us. Like, that's the one thing that is always, even when Connecticut, when we were talking about AT in this offense, we were like, oh, well, the offense is, not always going to put up the points, even though AT is a great player. They're not always going to put up the points, but the defense will be solid. If anything, I believe the defense might be solid, but if they don't go out there and they'll be able to score, it's going to be some of those games that they're just going to drop, and it's going to be like, oh dang. Like I,
Yeah, I
I
think a
feel like
lot.
we know how Stephanie White get down,
I think that's a
and
lot
she'll
of
be good,
reputation.
but 30 is a
I think
lot.
that's based on Connecticut's reputation because I do think that White's offense was actually fine last year, even without once again Clark for most of the season. The defense though is a question mark, so I think that'll come around. But I'll go over. I think that once again, Caitlin playing. I'm picking a very solid MVP candidate season from Caitlin, and if I'm going for that type of script,
So
we're
you
getting
think
to
they're a
30.
top three team in the league?
I might not pick them in a playoff series when we get to playoff
No, but you think
basketball,
they'll
but in the
be a
regular
top?
season, yes, I think they can definitely be a top 3 seed.
Oh
I'm
well,
higher on
yeah,
this team than you, but I'm going to sell high on a different team in a second. So that's kind of why I'm picking and choosing.
yeah. All right, you're on over. I'm on
Yeah,
under.
I'll say 31.
All right, next up.
Same win total. Dream.
Atlanta Dream win total at 29.5. We talked about the Atlanta Dream bringing in Angel Reese. She's going to fit in lovely. They still have Bree Jones, who actually just got hurt. So, like, that sucks.
She's going to be
But
out until probably like August. Like she's going to be out for a while.
yeah, that sucks. But, like, I still think that this team is very solid. Still got Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray, Jordan Canada. So they still have their main nucleus, but the big Bree Jones and what Smeshko wants to do there with Bree Jones and allowing her to go off the block, work inside, and then start playing outside and start hitting those threes. Like that's that mindset. And that's that mindset for literally the perfect mindset for Angel of, hey, we want to play inside out. We want to get you the ball in the post, and then we want you to be able to kick out and hit our 3-point shooters. And we start raining threes. We're pushing tempo. The bigs are running the ball with the tempo. Like I think he's going to have a ball with Angel Reese this season, and she just plays. It was a great move. Like really, kudos to Atlanta of bringing star power, bringing a superstar in terms of the fans that she brings with her to that league, because now the Atlanta Dream games at home, if they already won't turn, they're going to be so much more turnt. They may be one of the best home teams in the league, honestly. Tina Pow still on the team. Nas Hillman still here on the team. Like they kept the team together and added Angel Reese. And so yeah, they lose Nia Coffey and maybe a couple of auxiliary pieces, but I think that this is still a really, really good start. So I like the Atlanta Dream. I think they're going to be consistent. The Bree Jones injury did hurt me a little bit, but they were a 30-win team last year, and I think that they could honestly be better. So Al- Atlanta, I would not surprise. It would not surprise me if the Atlanta Dream were the best team in the WNBA in regular season. It would absolutely not surprise me. I think they are going to be very good this year, especially when Bree Jones come back. That was a little setback for them now. I'm sure that at some point they'll reattack that position and try to get somebody else in there. And we'll see how Okot from South Carolina does. And maybe they can try to work and get her up to speed to a level where she can at least come in and play them some good minutes. But I'm big on the Atlanta Dream this year. I think they made the perfect moves for this team and not did too much to change this roster. And now they're going to go out there and have a really, really good regular season yet again.
Yeah, I'm with you. I said I was going to fade one of the two teams ahead of Indiana. This was not the team I was talking about. I'm going to go with the Dream over. I think that they get to potentially like 34. They could easily be the 1 seed in the entire league. They did have the best record in the East last year, and they got better Of course, Jones getting injured is going to hurt the depth, but she might come back at the end of the regular season, so we'll see. But the Dream were very good last year. Playoffs didn't work out, and now they have a chance to, once again, kind of take care of some unfinished business. So I'm with you. I think Atlanta is going to run through a bunch of teams in the league. I think that they have a great amount of balance. They have shooters. They have a center who, of course, can now rebound the ball better than anybody else in the league, which is the balance you want, because I know that Reese's field goal percentage has left a lot to be desired. It didn't help when you had no shooting on the sky and you had another center right next to her. But now you can actually run legitimate 3-point sets for your guards with the rolling action with Angel Reese. And we saw last year in some spots when Cardoso was injured, Reese can play make. She can also give you like 4 assists in a game, like 5 assists or more. Like she can give you some solid passing out
She's
of the
a point
post.
forward.
I like the spacing on this team. I see a lot of talent here. I'm hoping that Howard stays healthy, which has been an issue for her entire career. But we like Gray. We think that Reese is going to walk into, especially without Bree Jones, she might walk into like 13 to 15 rebounds a game. Like she could have an insane stat line for this team. So the rebounds are going to be a plus. The shooting will be a plus.
And they will be good defensively.
And we like their coach. We saw last year the coach turned out to be really good. So I like the over 2. I think they get to at least 32.
Wouldn't be surprised if they were one of the best teams in the league. Just walk into one of the best records in the league. They continue to handle business. A lot of teams will be very frustrated when they play the Atlanta Dream this year.
I think they will be the 1 seed in the East.
Yep.
Okay. We got one team left. It's our team.
All right. New York Liberty. Over under set at 32.5 wins here. New head coach.
Yep. For
the New York Liberty. Probably a little overdue, but, winning the championship buys you some more time. So, Chris DeMarco hired longtime Golden State Warriors assistant coach. He is now the head coach of the New York Liberty. Liberty, of course, Sabrina Ionescu is back. Jonquel Jones is back. Breanna Stewart is back. Leonie Fievich is back. They also add Satu Sabali to this team.
They swapped Sabalis.
And yeah, they did end up swapping Sabalis. And then, not only, they re-signed Benajilani Hamilton. So now she's back with the team. And she's one of those people, when she got hurt last year, we were like,
yeah, she didn't play at all.
Oh, that's one of those injuries that we were like, oh, that's gonna suck, dude. We're gonna be thinking about that one, and that's gonna really, really suck for us. But now she's back, she's healthy, she looks to have a role on this team. You go and they just signed Maureen Johannes, re-signed her, so she's back. You also talk about let's see what else. That's really the big. Oh, Rebecca Allen. There we go. Rebecca Allen comes in, and now that's another long defensive player, 6'2", long defensive player, able to get in the passing lanes, can hit the 3, brings you energy to this team. Like they've begun to fill out 1 through 8 on the roster pretty decently, and we'll see who the last person kind of is and who kind of emerges from all the rookies and overseas players that they have, because if the Liberty are good at one thing, I promise you they are great at scouting an overseas player that we have no idea who they are. That's literally what they do. The scouts are so good overseas, and just, we don't know who this person is because we don't follow overseas women's basketball, but they're a sniper, a freaking defensive threat like Leonie Fievich was when she came in the league. Like, come on, man. Liberty should be decent, but are they 32.5 decent, Scott?
They have to lose less than 12 games. That's where we're at for this team. I'm on the under. I said I was going to fade one of the top 2 teams. The Dream I'm not fading. I think the Dream are very good. The Liberty have a lot of experience, and that could be good or bad. You're looking at their main core. Jonquel's 32. Hamilton's coming back. She's 32. Brianna's 31. I know she's had knee issues in the past. We'll see if she could stay healthy. Satu's 28. Ionescu's 28. Do we think they care about seeding? Or do we think their main goal is to stay healthy and then whatever happens, happens? Because I think this team could definitely be content with having a road series or 2 and just getting everybody fully healthy to the finish line. So I'm on the under. I think the Liberty, first of all, we have a brand new coach. So we'll see if they hit the ground running, if there's going to be some growing pains, or maybe they stumble out of the gate, lose a couple of games they shouldn't lose. But with the injury history of a couple of players they have, mostly Stewie, and with the age of the main core, and what I think is, of course, a title or bust team, I don't see much incentive for the Liberty to care about the regular season record. They're going to make the playoffs. We know this for a fact. Do they care if they're the 1 or the 3 seed? I'm going to say no. I don't think they really care. I like this team in terms of talent depth on paper, but brand new coach, that's always a question mark. And you also have a veteran core, which I think cares more about the playoffs and staying healthy as opposed to regular season seeding. So I'm on the under. I think the Liberty are going to coast. I think they'll end up with around 28 again. And I think they end up going into a playoffs series against Atlanta in the second round and say, you know what? We don't care. You have home court. We like our talent. We're healthy. We've won a title before. Let's see what happens. Check the ball up. So I'm on the under. I think the Liberty have no incentive with this veteran core to try to win 35 games. I'm on the under. I think they coast and try to stay healthy.
So I disagree.
About which part?
Almost all of it.
Okay. So you think they actually push for a good regular season record?
I don't think they push for a good regular season record, but I think that they're going to get to a point where they just start beating up on teams and they're going to have a good regular season record. I think the engine is there. I think everything is there. The guy's just got to he's got to just get the ship there. We understand how good this Liberty team can be. When the Liberty were at their peak, it wasn't even close. Teams weren't even close to them on most nights. It took injuries. It took some Sandy Brondello jinxing, like all of this stuff to kind of set the Liberty back. But this Liberty team was just dominant, and it was based off of the play of how good Jocko Jones could be, how good that Breonna Stewart could be, how good Sabrina Ionescu could be. Now you're adding in Satu Sabli into that mix, and hey, she's going to have some nights where she's going to be able to save this team. They all can be very good defensively. You bring in Benaje Laney Hamilton and Beck Allen, who just fits and fills a need. Maureen Johannes, it seems like they have said, all right, we got our core nucleus of players that we feel like can go make us a good team. Now we just got to go out there and do it. And so I don't think that it's going to be anything different. I think that the Stewie and Sabrina injuries and all the different little stuff kind of aided in dropping that win total last year. But I just think that the Liberty are honestly still one of the best teams in the league, and they're going to win a bunch of games. And so I'm lower on Indiana. You have Indiana higher.
That's the flip that we have here.
And so I understand that, but I think the Liberty can get to this win total. I just think that the Dream can challenge them to be better. And if there was something of some 33 and we're fighting on 33, 34 wins for the Dream or the Liberty or both are up there in those win counts, I think those two teams are going to win a lot of games, and they're not going to play around with the weak teams of the league and allow those teams to steal unnecessary wins and what they need to be able to lead confidently, put together streaks and go out there and just keep doing things. And then there's always the wild card of Natasha Cloud is still sitting out there somewhere unsigned and very much possibly could make a re-sign to the Liberty, but she's still out there unsigned, and that's a pretty big domino that's going to fall at some point during this season. So I think the Liberty have options now and in the future. I think that they can be consistent. We'll see what new head coach Chris DeMarco has planned and what this is going to look like. But everything's there. Everything's there. And as long as he can just go out there and bring in a new set of eyes, they're going to win a bunch of games. So I think I'm still on the over for the Liberty, honestly. Over 32.5. I think that's one of those ones. And I'm oh, maybe I could play. Yeah, they could just have 30, but I don't know. Liberty just find ways to beat up on teams. And I remember when they were at their peak last year, nobody was close.
Yeah, look, this team is very good. I'm not saying that the team's going to struggle, but I do wonder if part of the goal is just to keep everyone healthy. They got Satu, who we know had a very solid postseason run with Phoenix. Do you want to guess how many seasons Satu's played more than 17 games in?
Not many.
2.
Yeah, Satu's always had an injury.
That's what I'm saying. So Satu's banged up all the time. Stewie missed about 13 games last year. She's had a knee issue in the past. Ionescu also has missed some games before. I do question if they're going to prioritize regular season wins over health.
But can you do that with the new head coach? Can you do that with the new head coach that you've never played with? You got to start using the regular season and preparing yourself for the playoff run. If you start pussyfooting around in the regular season with the new head coach, not knowing how things work, not buying into the system, all that, you're going to be in a rude awakening for the playoffs. But like, I think that they have to lock in on the regular season because they got to figure out, hey, what is this team going to be like? What is this team? Who are we? What is our identity with this new head coach?
That's kind of the point, though, is you're mentioning some question marks they have to figure out, but there's really no margin for error with this win total because they need to lose less than 12 games. So based on that, I'll pick them to win like 30. I'll go with the under.
All right, I'm on over. Let's close out.
By the way, quick thing, Connecticut, I've reconsidered my stance. I'll go under on Connecticut. The more you go through the teams, you realize the East is actually pretty stacked. I don't see really enough wins for Connecticut. So I'll once again consider my stance there. Give me the under on Connecticut. Anyway, best bets. What do you like?
I like Chicago to go over that 18.5.
Okay. I was going to say the same thing.
If I wish I want to find, I doubt I can. I'll have to go see if I can play around with it. But Chicago to get over their win total and still miss the playoffs would be very interesting.
Okay. I think we're lockstep on Chicago and Atlanta. I think those are the two that we definitely agree on.
I do like Atlanta over 29.5. I think they will be very good. I wholeheartedly disagree with you on the Fever. I just think 29.5 is just way too high of a win total for this team. And you talk about the Liberty got to be perfect. The Fever got to be perfect to go up. Like, you got to be really, really good. And again, we're only going to get about 3, maybe 4 teams in the 30 win total range. And it's just other teams. And we haven't even talked about the West yet that I just like a lot more than Indiana. I think they'll be flashy and I think they'll be interesting. And I think they'll be above 500, but they're just going to come in at like 27. Maybe even 26.
Yeah, I'm going for the Caitlin bounce back seasons. That's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, we disagree on the Liberty and the Fever, so it makes sense because those are the 3 best teams in the East by far. Those 3 teams. So we're just flipping the order. But we still have the 3 teams being the best in the East. But yeah, I think our best bets are kind of the same. It's
also give me Washington under 17.5.
Okay. I think Connecticut honestly might win like single digits. The more that I think about it, there are a lot of really good teams in the East, but. Yeah, I'll go with, once again, Atlanta and Chicago with you.
All right.
Cool.
He's at Reichel Radio. I'm at really real __. Make sure you give us a follow. We will be doing the Western Conference tomorrow and knocking out the teams over there. We have some episodes coming up next week as well, leading into opening tip on Friday, May 8th. We'll be here Thursday night, breaking down all of those games. Again, he's at Reichel Radio. I'm at really real __, at SGPN NBA, youtube.com/NBA Gambling Podcast. And give us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcast for the WNBA Gambling Podcast. With that, that's it. I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending podcast. Just going to like this. We are out of here.